everyone, I'm Heath Daniels. What's your worst sexual experience? I'm here at the Ron Robinson Fred Siegel store in West Hollywood for the book launch of Worst Laid Plans. We're here today to find out what happens when bad sex happens to good people. Tell me how this book came about, because initially it was a show at Upright Citizens Brigade. Did you always have the idea that it would be a book, or did that sort of transpire over time?
No, that developed out of, we did the show for about like a year before we started talking about the book, and the more shows we did and the more guests we kind of got coming in and the more different stories we heard, we realized there was such an unbelievable volume of stories that we thought it would work perfect for a book. We never thought we'd actually get a book deal, but we thought it would work well as a book. Yeah.
Well, the show is still running at Upright Citizens Brigade, correct?
Yes.
And you initially had, 7 original performers for the show?
Yeah, the original cast was a cast of 7 that we stick with for a while, and then we would bring in special guests and start rotating in other stories as they came in, and they kept coming in. So it kind of rotates more frequently now, but we do still have that core cast that we go back to.
This is a non-traditional book about sex. We're also in an incredibly non-traditional place to be having a book launch.
I know.
Why are we at Fred Siegel? Can you answer that question for me?
I can't, but you know what's funny is I used to work here. I used to manage the upstairs.
Really?
Yes.
Did you ever have sex here?
No, but I met one of my boyfriends here.
Has there been worse sexual experiences since that version that's in the book?
Oh, God, yes. I mean, my first sexual experience was, is really worth telling, but it's too mortifying, and it was with a famous person. So I can't.
You're holding out for your memoir.
That's right.
Is
How
that what
did
you're
you
doing?
know?
Well, I have a few friends. This is what they do.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
They give small versions of the truth, and then they hold the big stuff when their book comes out.
Totally. Which tells you how many good, bad sex stories I have.
Now, how much sort of history did you have to mine to really come up with this being the worst sexual experience you've ever had?
Many thousands of partners, hundreds of thousands. I did have to go through. I had to search, but this one really did jump out at me as being a golden nugget.
Now, are you currently with a partner, or a husband,
Yeah.
gentleman caller?
Yeah, I'm married to Matt Walsh of the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
He didn't read it.
he didn't read it?
No.
Okay. Would you, if they were doing a book about the best sex you've ever had, would Matt make the cut?
Yes, of course he would. Of course he would.
She has to say
No,
that.
actually, the only hesitation was he wouldn't want me to answer any questions about anything about
No?
it. He's very conservative. But yeah, I love him. He's the best.
Was he comfortable with you talking about prior sexual experiences?
He was comfortable with me expressing myself artistically, but I think he probably would have preferred it to be a different subject.
I'm here with Mary Lynn, who is a contributor to the book Worst Laid Plans. You were also a performer at the UCB Productions. I'm sort of curious how you got involved with being one of the performers for the show.
Alex and Laura are very clever, lovely girls, and they're very popular. They know a lot of people. This show was so much fun because it felt like you were unleashing something, like kind of like dirty secrets and things that no one talks about. And it was so much fun to hear all the other women's stories. And there's something really powerful about it, like hearing these awful experiences recounted in a humorous way. And that's my favorite kind of humor, where it's like funny, but you're also like, oh no, you didn't.
Now, you tell a very graphic and very funny story about oral sex, your first sort of bad experience with that. Is that sort of a rite of passage for young girls, you think, to have a bad blowjob story?
Oh yeah, I think it's too much to hope that there'd be a good experience with the first blowjob or the first introduction to the penis at all.
How much of your history did you really sort of have to think about to come up with this story for the book?
I had plenty of worst laid plans. Can I tell you? It was hard to choose.
Yeah.
So it was basically this first and somewhat formative experience that I chose. And it's a little bit sad. Did you hear it?
Oh, yeah, of course. I read it and heard it.
You read it and heard it.
Oh, yeah. I double dipped, baby. I read it and heard it.
Oh, I'm very flattered. It's a little sadness, but there's always a little bit, you scratch the surface of somebody in comedy and you get tragedy.
Your story is sort of about a submissive, dominant relationship that you basically sort of had to be trained on how to be a dominant personality.
Basically.
How'd that pan out for you?
Not too well. I felt really bad for him, actually. He didn't know what he was getting into, that he actually had to stop what he was doing to give me directions.
What I loved about your story is it's one of the few stories in the book that actually deals with a fetish. This gentleman caller had a foot fetish. Do you have a newfound appreciation for the foot fetish folks out there?
I have a very deep appreciation for it because they, I don't know how they find the right kind of person.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that they just put it out there.
Congratulations on your first published story.
Well, thank you very
Not too
much.
bad. I hope that there's many men out there that are looking for some fetish play and they look you up now.
We'll see. There's what's left? Pony play and water sports? Is that where we go?
There's a hanky for everything. I'm here with a very statuesque June Diane Raphael.
Thank you,
You're welcome. One of the original members of Worst Laid Plans at
Yes.
UCB. Your story is hilarious. I saw the show 4 times. Literally hilarious.
You're a groupie.
I am a groupie. I'm a groupie of June. I'm a groupie June. I'm a June groupie.
Take it. I'll take it.
Yeah?
You're the only one, but I appreciate you. And
Do people stop you at all and go like, hey, I heard you had really bad sex?
honestly, it's been tough because a lot of people have seen the show now, and especially friends and stuff that I've invited to the show and just people I know. And then they sort of look at you afterwards like, I really see you now. I thought I knew you, but now I really know you. So it's definitely like you're revealing yourself in an insane way.
Your story is about having a three-way with your neighbors. And you lived next to those neighbors after the fact that you had this sex with them, right?
Yes, yes.
How was that when you were started getting the mail together?
Horrible. Well, it's actually funny because I was like a prisoner in my own home for the next 2 years. I would get the mail at 2 in the morning, and I would come and go at odd hours. I'd always check to see if their car was there. It was horrible.
But it never happened again.
Never happened again. They were not interested in round 2. It was
Did you ever participate in the three-way again, or did this really sort of scar you from that experience?
I never did because, like I said, it was very overwhelming. It's a lot of work. It's confusing. It's physically.
One at a time.
Yeah, it's physically difficult. It's because the thing is, to me, it's guys always want threesomes, so you always have to deal with guys wanting that, and it's just please one woman, and then we can move on to 2.
There is a bed here today at the Fred Siegel store where we're doing the readings, so I was wondering if you were planning on reenacting any of those worst sexual experiences for us. Live stage show at all.
Yeah, do you have $10?
For you, I would give
That's my quote.
I would give you 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
And since your story is about a three-way, I might throw in another 5 just to involve somebody else.
Just involve some random
Yeah.
dude, please. A stranger, no condoms. As long as you don't use condoms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only way. I roll.
That's the way I like to live anyway, so I can do that for you.
On the edge.
Is any of your prior relationships, we'll go with relationships, prior bad sexual experiences, have they figured out that they are the one that you're speaking about?
Yes. I mean, there's one in particular that I'm very good friends with, and I was pretty upfront with him, and we have a really good relationship in that we can, and he dumped me, so it's I get to make fun of him, The rest of them, there has always been a little bit of a fear that they might find out, and we did an audiobook as well that we recorded some live shows in New York and LA.
Did you have guests readers like Maya Angelou or Hillary Clinton that sort of contributed?
I hope we do for the sequel. They'd be incredible. This one.
I'm Maya Angelou. I got fucked in the ass one time.
She's got to be our next guest.